matches, let's talk about current matches as we get on into this. To the upper left hand side of King Sejong Station, our red Protoss player from Team Liquid. Let's hear it, guys. If you're cheering on Mana. Team Liquid returning to the event in Season 6 as reigning champions of the SC2I Team League. And of course, they are looking to do the same this season as they did last season, which was to just go to that finals very convincingly, win it, and take home that championship. To the bottom right, from Invasion eSports, our pink Zerg player. Let's hear it, guys, if you're cheering on Mini Razor. As Invasion make their first run into the playoffs in the SC2ITL. Semi-finals so far, not a bad result. The only remaining team alive right now from Group B of the competition, from Group B of the group stage. The other teams from Group B, Root fell to Millennium. Euronics took down Psystorm. Cascade fell to Liquid. So, Invasion, the only team left from Group B of the competition. We will have that Group A rematch in the other semi-final, Millennium versus Euronics Gaming. And we will, hence, if Liquid win this, potentially have another group stage rematch in these playoffs as we get this going. As we get this set up and ready to go into this PvZ. Straight away, to start things off, not really anything which sort of, shouts, look at this, I'm going crazy or wacky, apart from maybe the double gateway from Mana, which is something he's been doing a fair amount. We've actually casted quite a lot of Mana's games lately, and go for SC2s and another couple of events here or there, which I've been casting the last couple of weeks. He's been doing this couple of gateways kind of as an opening quite a lot. It allows him to apply a lot of pressure. It allows him to get a lot of adepts out early, with a little bit of a later expand than usual, but he forces units, he has the potential to kill workers. It can trade very, very well if controlled correctly, and of course someone like Mana is expecting to be able to control this very well, and really get the maximum value out of these early adepts. This will hence probably lead into some kind of Resonating Glaives follow-up, because he's already got a good adept count coming up. But there's other ways you can go about this too. You can just swap into a Stargate as well. He actually has a Stalker on the way right now to look to hunt down most likely just a couple of Overlords which might be near his base looking to scout in the near future. As we see an Evo Chamber on the way very early in the game from Mini Razor, 8 more Zerglings being made. And with this Overlord positioned up here, you would imagine he's mostly aiming to kind of get some Zerglings into that Overlord and dropping in towards the main base here very soon, as those Adepts, they cancel the shader here initially. 4 kills already just on Zerglings. Nothing else. You see the 5th Zergling and the 6th going down, so this is some good damage already done. I mean, Mini Razor is down 7 workers, and he has to keep on making lings to try and survive this. Now, of course, at this point, there's also probably the factor that, realistically, Mini Razor is looking to really be aggressive here, really looking to get something done with this heavy Zergling count. But he's going to have to get something done, because otherwise, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. As those Adepts have just a little bit of a shade over to the side. And he's going to see, I mean, Mana should see no third base and so on, so how does he respond to this? These lings coming towards the front, Mothership Core isn't ready just yet, 2 more Adepts being made, a few lings in the main base are, well, unloading, but not really moving forwards just yet. Another pylon added at the front as well to help block off this wall, even when the Stalker goes down, as we see. One more Adepts about to finish, that Mothership Core pops out, and Overcharge will help to protect almost immediately here. So, Overcharge protecting the main base for now, as those 2 Adepts come out. They're actually going to go around and in towards the main. They're going to sit next to the pylon, next to the Nexus, just try and limit the sort of surface area here, as we see the Zergling's going to start taking down these pylons. Mana, what's his answer to this? He is going to have Warp Gate finishing. He'll have one of his Warp Gates unpowered, though, and actually the second Warp Gate going to be unpowered here in a moment as well, as these Adepts, they get into the corner. Mana's not going to have any production anymore, though, and this is going to be very troubling. What's he meant to do if he doesn't have any production, as these probes are going to be under attack? And Mini Razor, with this Zergling count, is looking to get a lot done here in the very near future. These Zerglings right now, they grab another couple of workers, they go up now into the main base, and they are going to look for some more damage where, I mean, Mana just doesn't have any production anymore. He can't make any units because he has his 2 gateways on the low ground, and they are unpowered here. And so Mini Razor is going to start working his way against this Nexus. And Team Liquid look as though they might lose Mana here very early on in this series. Another Adept comes in, gets surrounded, shut down almost immediately. And I mean, the Zerglings here, they just have to keep on fighting. The pylons, if they're not up, then no Overcharge will come in. And, well, I mean, we do see a couple of gateways being built. But again, once they finish, there's not going to be pylons to power them. The Zerglings just swap between the Nexus and the probes and just continue to do damage. And again, Mana's not getting into any better of a situation here at all. This Mothership Core does not kill the Zerglings fast enough. And Mana's just sat here, unable to really do anything. There goes his Nexus, and Well, the Zergling's just going to pull away to the natural, because guess what? You killed that Nexus, and that would just be game right there. GG. Mini Razor takes game number 1 of this series. Let's go into this. So yeah, I mean, the 3rd ranked player in this season of the SC2ITL, looking to keep his 100% win ratio against Zerg this season. From Team Liquid, our blue Zerg player, it is Bunny. And to the bottom right, the player who just picked up his first win of the season for the team. From Invasion eSports, on here, guys, if you're cheering on Mini Razor. Again, guys, how are we all doing? Hope we're all doing well. Hope we are all having a pretty good day. As Invasion definitely are 1-0 up in the semi-final match. As you're going to see, that barracks just building up here for Bunny to kick us off into what would most likely be here a very standard Reaper expand. So just going to be seeing that Reaper on the way out, and just a hatch gas pool here early on from Mini Razor as that extractor finishes up. I'm just going to be seeing a drone or two just jumping on in there, so a few drones just jumping on into that gas, and of course we're expecting to see that Zergling speed coming up here very soon. Now, Mini Razor, a few options for him on this map could include something like a Link Queen drop, if he wants to be very aggressive again for the 2nd game in a row, so he could go Link Queen drop. There's a lot of different ways he can do things here. He could play very standard as well and just get that new test carapace to scout, just take the 3rd base. Bunny, of course, I mean, these are the sort of things he's going to be looking out for as he sends his first Reaper across the map. Goes straight into the reactor and the 2nd rack, so Bunny, right from the get-go here, looking as though he wants to go into kind of a very fast, maybe 2-1-1 build, a big, very fast kind of stim drop after kind of 5 minutes or so, and look to kind of hit very early. In fact, with the 2nd gas coming up, this looks exactly like that just now, as we're just going to be seeing this Reaper coming in and just going to start working his way against a few of these Zerglings. So a few things just taking a little bit of damage in there. That drone going to be picked away at too, but Mini Razor gets that onto an extractor there, so it doesn't let that go down, as one more drone on the natural can have a little bit of issue, but it becomes a spore crawl, as we see a very fast lair on the main base of Mini Razor, something which Bunny has not picked up on quite yet. So that's something which Bunny doesn't yet see. His own command center at home about to finish up, and well, going into that factory, the tech lab coming down on this barracks as well. And just looking to see what happens. We see that Reaper actually going to jump back up and towards the natural expansion in a moment or two. Tech lab finishing up on that racks, and well, Sim will start, and again, Starport will come down very soon after this to continue heading in towards this kind of 16 Marine drop, or 14 Marines, and a Widowmine I think you kind of go with if you can line things up correctly. As we'll see, the Starport again will come in very soon. There's that lair finishing up now for Mini Razor. So what's this going to be? I mean, you look at this, and yeah, I think a very fast Spire is probably one of the things you have to expect. I mean, it's going to be a fast Spire or a Nidus Network, one or the other. And this time going to be that fast Spire, which honestly, I don't actually really like. I mean, it's a great build, it can work out nicely, but against what Bunny is doing, I definitely feel as though Bunny is just at an immediate advantage here, because he's going to be dropping at a time in where the first mutalisks are just coming up, and those mutalisks are not going to help him defend against this many Marines with Stimpack. And that's where Mini Razor is going to find himself in a little bit of trouble here in the very early stages of this game, number 2 of the best of 7 all kill. As we see them Zerglings, they do finally hunt down that Reaper. I think the Reaper saw the lair though, so I think Bunny sees, yes, he sees the lair, he saw the Spire as well, so he knows exactly what he's playing against. He's actually had on a bunker, and he actually goes into a Liberator and a Medevac. Ooh. I don't know if I like the Liberator. I mean, I understand he might be looking to play defensively here, but I kind of feel against the kind of the Spire play that you can just go double Medevac and drop so quickly, and your offense becomes your defense, because the mutas kind of have to stay across the map, you know, stay at home, because if they don't stay at home, yeah, I mean, it's a, you know, they're not the best at fighting, but he needs something to fight. I mean, you look at this right now, if Bunny starts dropping as this Medevac pops out in plus 20 seconds or so, Mini Razor has literally nothing. 6 lings, 5 meters would not be enough to deal with this double drop, so I'm not sure how I feel about this. Maybe Bunny, I don't know, he's seen the Spire, right? So, oh, okay. I mean, he's just going to send a single Medevac across the map and look to see what he can get done with this. A few seconds just come out towards the front, then 5 meters about to finish up here as a single siege tank on the way from Bunny as well. And then it's just going to join up in the main base alongside those Zerglings. They're going to be kept back for now as Medevac will come in. Queen's going to look to start targeting that down, and yeah, Bunny should just realize here that he's going to have to just relocate a few of those Marines. He actually takes down one Mutalist for the Medevac. Does he get another Mutalist at the end here? No, not quite. It's not the best of starts from Bunny, as Mini Razor just clean this up. So Mini Razor making this work out. I mean, okay, maybe Yes, I don't know, I still feel as though if this was a double medevac drop there, he could get so much more done and load so much more faster, set so many more units out quickly. I'm not sure, but again, I mean, Bunny's, this build order's been in the meta game a long time, so I'm sure Bunny felt that this is kind of the best way for him to fight against this, for him to play this sort of situation out, to play out this kind of clash of build orders, as Muta's just looking around to see what they can do, going to find themselves a supply depot there on the low ground, a few Marines stimmed forward, some Bunny looking to push those Mutalisks away once again. So he's just being pushed away once again. The third hat-trick coming up from Mini Razor, of course, we expect that to be a bit delayed compared to usual because of the speed at which we saw Lair come down, the speed at which we saw not just the Lair, but, the Spire, the Mutalisks, and all of that tech. And we're going to see a Roach follow-up now from Mini Razor. Now, Bunny, he did have a tech lab on the factory initially. He did build a tank. I wonder if he is going to go into Widowmine production now. He is, so he swaps into Widowmine production thinking this may be a continued commitment into Mutalisks, whereas in reality maybe the Siege Tank production would have been the better way to continue for him, considering it is going to be that big Roach switch. And Mini Razor is already making a lot of Roaches. He's looking to probably attack here very soon and be very aggressive. So is Bunny going to be prepared for that attack? Well, that is going to be the question we are asking ourselves over the next few minutes. He has extra racks coming up. That third command center about to finish from Bunny too. And then Muta's still just sort of controlling the front, not really adding on a lot of damage, not really getting too much done here, but definitely just keeping Bunny at home and keeping Bunny from dropping across the map or anything like that. I'm going to delay a couple of racks here momentarily for a couple of SCV kills, or not, as Bunny actually stims in and pushes them away very quickly. And then few Mutalisks just backing away over to the right side of Bunny's main base. That +1 missile attack about to finish here. Mini Razor has that roach speed, and is at this point now he's pretty much ready to go for this attack. He hasn't been building drones for quite a long time, and well, Bunny, what's his army looking like? He's got a lot of Marines, a couple of Liberators, and one single Siege Tank to kind of fight against this. It's one of them scenarios where you just have to, from Bunny's point of view, I think just have to be very cautious for just a little while. Just really make sure here that you're not overcommitting into something too early on. Now, he does have them 4 Liberators, and if they siege up to help against these Roaches, that could be very nice. I think he does have to siege them up. I think he just has to let the Marines and so on deal with the Mutalisks, because otherwise I just don't think Bunny has enough DPS on the ground, as I don't know if Bunny actually sees this coming down right now. He doesn't see his rocks going down. And here we go. This push goes start coming forwards. He needs to be careful, because if he isn't... Oh, Widowmine's actually underneath the Liberators there. Going to do a lot. As we're going to see the stim in from Bunny. He might actually have to just pull some SCVs into this as well. Liberators now begin to siege up. So a lot of SCVs going down, but he will clean up a lot of this army of his opponent. The Liberators that are left over right now are not in a good position, as Bunny stims to keep on fighting. He's lost 15 workers though. And Mini Razor, well, has he got enough here to kind of finish things off here at the end? These last couple of Ravages will go down. Bunny loses 20 workers, but on triple CC, he's only 12 workers behind. Not so bad. And right now, this kind of roach-based aggression out of Mini Razor begins to lose its effectiveness as the game goes on, as Bunny's army does get larger. So has Mini Razor done enough here to put himself in a good position at the very start of this mid-game? I don't know if he has. I think Bunny might actually be sort of okay right now. As we're going to see a single Marine just coming out, looking to see where them Roaches might be going. Roaches will try and take down these rocks and try and go in towards the third base now as a different kind of direction of attack to try and keep Bunny jumping between a couple of different locations. Man, those Widow Mines were huge. Taking down so many of those Mutalisks so quickly really had a big effect on the game and on that engagement. I mean, the few of them Mutalisks survive a little while longer, maybe a couple more Liberators go down, and maybe Bunny doesn't quite have that DPS to turn this army away, as Mini Razor much fewer Ravagers this time around. He's only got 2 Ravagers compared to the 7 he had in the first attack. As we will see, Bunny going to have to attack down a ramp into his own, to kind of try and defend this here. But simming forwards already. He does have upgrades now as well. As you see, Bunny keeps on committing forwards. The Liberator coming in from the back. Those 2 Corrosive Powers not going to be enough. We will see the Ravager taken down by the Liberator. And Bunny pushes this Roach-based army away once again. He's actually going to keep on chasing as he still steps forwards. These Roaches are going to keep on trying to trade, but Bunny just has so much power here with these Marines. The Medevac's healing them as well. And actually now a couple of Overlords. They're running into a position they don't really want to be in. They go down, and Mini Razor is starting to lose hope a little bit in this game, really. Bunny with the defense multiple times now, looking very good. Scan to the main base, just checks to see, make sure that this is very committed, there's not a hive on the way or anything. And make sure he doesn't have to think about fighting Ultralisks anytime soon. He sees that, and he looks as though he's going to load up, and, I miss Sora. I thought he was loading up a drop to send across the map, but apparently not. Just going to be starting to work his way through these rocks to take his 4th expansion, something which Mini Razor is also looking to do here very soon, taking this 4th base on the pocket expand rather than this upper 4th base, which I would generally say is more favoured by Zerg players Generally, a bit harder to defend from drops maybe, but much easier to defend from pushes, as this pushing potential through the bottom side of the map in a very choked up pathway is very, very powerful for the Terran player. So Mini Razor try and take this 4th base here. We'll see how that plays out for him, as we see a couple of tanks loaded up here from Bunny. Going to start moving out onto the map. Roaches are actually currently coming in towards the north side. Bunny sees this. Tanks will unload right towards the back here, as well, these Roaches are going to commit forwards to try and get on top of the tanks. The Raptors drop their biles, but I mean, the Marines just sort of step forwards. Yes, the tanks in the back look as though they may go down. There's just so much bio here for Bunny, and he has taken down all of these units. All the Roaches fall, and with that, Mini Razor will type out the GG well played. He knows he's lost his army, and he knows that his game. Let's introduce our players, as we have to the upper left our red Terran player from Team Liquid. Let's see it, guys. If you're cheering on Bunny. As of right now, he is currently the highest or most well-performing, I don't know how to say it, player in the SC2ITL this season, with 17 map wins and 3 map losses. To the upper right, someone we've seen a little bit of this season in the blue is going to be the Zerg player representing Invasion eSports. Their second player out tonight is Lambo. Alright, guys, again, who are you guys cheering for? Who is cheering on Liquid? Who is cheering on Invasion? Have we got anyone cheering on specific players? Let me know in the chat. I want to hear who you guys want to see winning this series. Again, big match, because the winner of this series now get themselves into the prize pool. You know, you get yourselves into that, into a section of that 2,000 euros, with the chance, of course, to play for even more money in that finals, and of course for the championship as well. Here in the 6th season of the SC2ITL, we've seen a lot of teams come and claim that crown, Team Liquid being one of them. And right now they are on track to be the first ever 2-time champions. Teams that we expected to do that, well, I mean, first I thought Might and Sandy were going to do that a long time ago when they won Season 1 and kept playing in Seasons 2 and 3 and 4 and every season. I thought Might and Sandy had to be the team who would come in and be the first team ever to kind of win 2 seasons, but Liquid, they are looking very good to do that right now. Of course, Invasion, Millennium, Euronics, all teams who are not necessarily new to the Team League this season, but they are all looking for their first ever Team League victory in the SC2ITL. So, a lot of history amongst the teams, and hey, it's kind of cool. I really feel as though a lot of the time when I talk about the kind of Team League and stuff, something I always enjoy talking about is sort of the storylines and who's won before, and things like this, and the statistics of the season, and so on and so on. I find that sort of thing very interesting to talk about. It's kind of appeals to me, I guess, sort of as like, well, I mean, it's just the sort of thing that kind of appeals to me. I think it's it gives you a good story to follow, and you can kind of think about who's beat who before, and I don't know. I just like it. We do see very standard play early on from both players. The Reaper expand against what is just a very fast free hatchery play from Lambo. Lambo with a little bit of gas still continuing in mind here, so not really looking to kind of keep getting gas going very quickly to rush out and pneumatize Carapace or anything. Let's see what his plan here is going to be as this Reaper just coming over to the right hand side. Sees that Queen towards the front here. Going to see a grenade coming down. Queen just backs off for a couple of moments as the Zerglings from Lambo are going to continue to work their way through these rocks. So the rocks just going down. I'm just going to see Reaper coming in again, just dropping that grenade once more, and just kind of keeping Lambo pushed back. Lambo going to get that creep tumor down, though. That's probably one of the things Bunny was hoping to try and deny there, maybe try and slow down the creep from advancing towards the third. With the third base in these positions being taken, the creep does take a little while to reach over to that third base and to join those up, so it is important for Lambo to get that creep tumor down early and to try and stop that from being denied, as we see Bunny just heading in towards the Wooden Mine drop to get things started in this game, and a siege tank to follow up. I actually really like this on this map, because I think a lot of this will be very much so about for Bunny, kind of delaying the creep spread and shutting down the creep between this base, between the natural and the third. You can do that very well with a siege tank, and there's also a lot of ledges you can just jump, drop down or drop up, and that means that the siege tank has a lot of potential to pick off Zerglings and so on for quite some time, which is always nice. I mean, medevacs and tanks generally do provide a lot of potential for kind of dealing damage and not taking much damage in the process, but especially on this map, I mean, there's a lot of ledges in important places that you can look to make use of. So we'll see how this turns out as a couple of queens come towards the third base right now. Another queen being made. Lambo with plenty of queens coming out onto the map. It's going to be his fifth queen now as he continues to push this creep spread down the map. As first Marines go start unloading. Lambo a little bit caught off guard with this. Overlord's kind of out, going to be caught very quickly, and he actually hits a supply block because of it. So very fast supply block coming in here as this Widowmine going to move forwards, and actually this Reaper and Widowmine and so on going to get quite a bit done as whoa! Oh, no way! Wow, Lambo, nice little bit of control there. Pulling that single Zerglin away. I was about to say that Widowmine going to get a huge connection on the Lings, but no, nice micro. As we're going to see the Marines unloading now off to the side, and going to see them Zerglings coming in here. We're going to see the Marines though lifting up and just backing away. The Reaper as well being kept safe as we will see that Liberator coming in towards the main base. We'll see Spokerlord going to reburrow itself here almost immediately. One drone goes down, that's about it. Queen takes a little bit of damage, and the Liberator will reposition while Bunny continues to get some damage done with this drop over towards the third base. Lair and +1/+1 upgrades for melee coming in for Lambo now. As we're going to see these Marines just unload and continue to try and fight. Not going to get too much done. The Reaper grenade doesn't connect on too much either. And Bunny back at home just setting up into, well, third CC, a couple extra barracks. Just setting up in towards his mid-game setup, which we're, more or less just expect him to go into here. Doesn't actually end up going for the tank drop in any way, shape, or form. And we're just going to be seeing this Liberator. Very low in health now. Might want to just go back home and get repaired up before he tries to come back in with that again. There is the tank drop starting to come across here. There's again just a Reaper grenade goes down, catches a few Zerglings. And these few units just continue to try and trade here just a little bit against a few of these Zerglings. Medevac continuing to move over towards the right hand side. We have a Liberator up to the north side here, and again just keeping that Liberator sort of sat around as a couple of Queens just trying to push that Medevac away. And tank unsieging, not unsieging but unloading now. It doesn't quite get shot off onto the Zerglings, and actually takes quite some damage before being picked back up. So Bunny gonna have to be a little bit careful with this. Doesn't want to lose those Medevacs. I mean, all of this kind of play so far by Bunny is very much so about sort of playing effectively, efficiently in such a way that doesn't really hurt him. This Liberator will now go down as actually is going to lose. Oh, not quite a tank. Just a Marine there in the end. Does see the Liberator going down. But again, making the most of this and actually still trading here at the high ground with these few Zerglings. I mean, there's not a lot up here, but still enough to just be a little bit annoying for a few more moments. Finding the Marines go down, I think at this point, Bunny has to start thinking about just pulling back home and getting a repair going on some of those Medevacs and on the siege tank as well. Behind all of this, Bunny has taken that third base. We saw that coming up before. And we see Lambo, well, he's gone into the Spire place, so looking for two options here, either Mutalisks or Corruptors. Right now, he actually doesn't have much gas for either of those. We'll see what he wants to commit into. He's got very fast, melee upgrades here. You can see the +1 melee is already finished. He's already into +2/+2, so very fast upgrades for Lambo, especially in comparison to Bunny's upgrades. Kind of puts on the flyer attacks, which would suggest to me that maybe we're going to see some Corruptors here, because it's not so much about sort of it's more about the Corruptors being able to survive for a while they take down the Medevacs, more so than Mutalisks, which come in there and actually look to really get damage done, in which case he might go for the flyer attacks. There's going to be some meters, so there goes my attempt at guessing out the windows. There's going to be a few meters coming in. Flyer attack's interesting, or flyer campus is interesting, and I wonder if it's, I mean, I'm not going to lie, I'm not completely certain, but I imagine it may just make things a little bit better later in the game in terms of keeping these meters alive in general. Kind of intriguing. Anyways, we're just going to be seeing the Marines and the Medevac just coming across over towards the center. Just going to be seeing a few of the units stimming, and Watchtower being taken momentarily. There's a couple of Lings spreading out. A few Lings coming towards the center too. These Marines just going to have to pull back. Right now, Bunny doesn't have combat shields actually, so doesn't have to be very careful. Nice tank shots though. And they're going to get quite a few of those Zerglings there, so nice play by Bunny. As he still does have to worry about this. A little bit of a run by going in towards his natural, and actually it's not a full wall off from the natural. It's kind of an open, it's open access in towards his mineral line. The wall off initially was designed to kind of, just sort of help him out, but definitely a lot of open areas here now as the siege tank is in a little bit of trouble, and actually that may go down, and it does go down. So siege tank goes down here. There's a few more Marines stim forwards and do just clean that up. +2 melee upgrades about to finish, and Bunny yet to start his 2-2. Again, that upgrade lead is something which Lambo is going to love playing with for a while here. It's going to make all of his trades so much more effective and efficient. As we're going to see these females just thinking about going in towards the main base. I mean, the hive starts up now, as Bunny, he's got a turret around, so I mean, these meters maybe not going to get too much done in towards the main mineral lines, as they're going to start flying on in. I mean, Bunny with kind of a timing right now, which is going to be quite nice to attack with, is, meter count isn't too high, that hive isn't up. So he's really looking, Bunny, right now, if he does trade, he'll be looking to sort of trade with a sort of situation where his opponent's just sort of on Ling Bane, so it's probably one of the better fights Bunny could take in the relatively near future. As we're going to see Muse just joined up together here. They've picked off a couple of depots. That's about it. As Bunny actually finds himself having a supply block, losing a cooldown supply depot, which is kind of double depot kind of being lost. So some damage being done by the Muse as Bunny starts pushing down this, down towards the kind of the bottom side of the Zerg's half of the map. And these tanks are going to start sieging the Liberators moving forwards as well. I mean, right now the creep spread is quite, is fairly well advanced, and you are going to see a little bit of an attack coming in from a few different angles here. The Marines are currently caught in the back, and Bunny begins to split away, but the split's not the best there, and Lambo takes some pretty good connections with the Banelings. As we're going to see these mutants continue to come forwards, and Lambo crushes through this army. Bunny with some really lackluster splits in this, and that's going to completely change this. I mean, Bunny goes into this fight like 20 supply up initially, but when he was moving across the map, he was 20 supply up, but that was a crushing defeat for him, and well, now he's going to have trouble even maybe just holding off against this. I mean, he's going to have to play a late game if he wants to continue in this game, because the Ultra Cavern's on the way up. There's no way Bunny now hits a timing, which really takes advantage of anything, really. He has to just play a late game against Ultralists, so Bunny's just going to have to play this out slowly, but we're going to see Lings hitting the mineral lines, and Bunny going to start being pulled around left, right, and center as the units go towards the natural. We'll see Mutas hitting the third. Bunny pulls away. Nice little splitting of the army here just to sort of make sure he's not going to be losing too much. As whoa, Banelings connect. 22 workers killed now between the natural and that third base. 25 workers killed. Bunny taking a lot of economic damage, but doesn't lose his army, and so not great, but survivable as we see the first two Ultras on the way up now in the production tab. That Kindness playing alongside +2 flyer attacks, adrenal glands, the melee upgrades continuing to go as well for Lambo, and Bunny only just now finishing up them +2 upgrades as Bunny. Again, this army for him just moving down this ramp, and, well, not looking good for him to keep his 100% run rate in TVZ in this season of the SC2ITL, as those Zerglings just sat off over to the left-hand side. Units from Lambo just collecting together here in the center. But he's still have a decent army supply to fight with here. But again, as those Ultras come up, life becomes a lot more difficult for Bunny to really trade and engage in the foreseeable future. He's going into +1 ship weapons, he's adding on another starport. It does look as though Bunny has the plans of just going in towards a 4th base, has the plans of going in towards just a later game. As we do see these zones going to run by into the main, and Bunny does not see it in time, does not raise those depots. More workers will be lost here, especially now with Adrenal Glands done. These Zerglings become so scary with how much damage they can get done so quickly. Already 8 workers killed, and, well, I mean, pretty much every worker's gone down in the main base, and they're natural. These Zerglings having a pretty good time as well. 13 more workers down, and Bunny finds himself on 31 SCVs against the 78 drones. We're going to see the stim coming in, the Zerglings continuing to drop down. And we're just going to be seeing Bunny continuing to kind of play from behind here. As we see him setting up the 4th base though, so he is going to have that 4th base on the way now, and we are getting turned away once again. First few Corruptors on the way up, of course, to try and help fight against that Liberator count, which is going to be one of the main points of defense here for Bunny against the incoming Ultralisks. As the Liberator's there, almost finding some Mutalist kills, but not quite at the very end, as he does just force those units back. And here we go, Lambo starting to move across the map with this Ling Bane, and now Ultra as well. And the thing is, the 4th base of Bunny is in a very open position here. There's no ramps for him to help defend this here. It's a, there's a lot of area in which Lambo can sort of run on in, as we're going to see these Ultras starting to come forwards. The Liberator's going to have to find a way to siege on up, and have to find a way to fight against this. Is Bunny. How is he going to fight this? Baneling's already crashing on in. The Planetary Fortress is going to go down, as Bunny is just stuck behind his own minerals. He's just going to type out GG right there, as Lambo cleans on up, takes series. As we jump into game number 4 of this best of 7. Looks as though we're going to be starting off to the upper right hand side of the map with the red Zerg player from Team Liquid. Let's hear it, guys, if you're going to be cheering on Snoot. In a very important game right now, because the winner of this completely changes sort of the situation in the game. It can either be 2-2, and then it's everyone, everything to play for from both teams, or it can be 3-1 if it goes the way of Lambo from Invasion eSports to the bottom left. And a 3-1 match score puts a lot of pressure on whoever the final player out of Team Liquid is. Winning 3 maps in a row is never ever going to be easy, and it gives Invasion a lot of kind of freedom on which maps they decide to pick, which maps they end up playing on, so as well, so it's kind of, the maps are always something you've got to keep in consideration here when you kind of think about sort of the team league and the way it works. So basically, how do I say this? So basically, when you win a map, it's actually the losing team who picks the next player and picks the next map. And so if you're up 3-1, Liquid get to pick the game after, pick the map and the player, and then say it goes 3-2, then it's Invasion who get to pick their next player and their next map, and then they'll have their other player lined up to play on the other map, So Invasion get a little bit more freedom as to which maps they play, and just in general, always being the team who's ahead of map gets you that kind of advantage back again. It just allows you to play a bit. I mean, picking the maps can play a lot into the sort of strategy of the Team League matches here. I was just going to be setting up into this in the next few minutes. Straight away, something which Lambo has done. Free hatch before pool, so playing a little bit of a risky build order right from the get-go. It works on this map because when Snoot comes in here, he sees the hatchery at the front as a hatchery first, doesn't really pick up on the information about, doesn't pick up on the information that there's a third hatchery just yet, though. So, let's see how Snoot can play against this, as straight away, without any pressure coming in from Snoot, this will be a slight advantage to Lambo, getting away with this greedy opening, as we have the Zergling speed on the way from Snoot. It looks as though he's going to have enough gas for a Baneling Nest in a moment or two as well. As you just see, Queen just coming off to the side, looking as though it might be looking to block an Overlord that might try and come into the natural or so, try and deny some information. And Snoot also moving a Queen down to the ramp, looking to hunt this Overlord down. So he takes his third hatchery pretty quickly here as well. So, I mean, Snoot is not really very far behind on the third hatch. I mean, okay, his third hatch is going to come much later, but he is going into a third hatchery. So just a slight advantage, I'd say, for Lambo here in the early stages. Snoot will have that earlier Zergling speed, which he could maybe make something happen with. If he wants to go for a little bit of Ling Bane, that might help him out, as we see a couple of Lings going to sneak on by here from Lambo. He is going to lose that Overlord, but already has enough supply to make sure he's not going to be hitting a supply block because of it, as Snoot with a couple of Lings across here as well has seen the free hatch play now, and so Snoot knows exactly what he's playing against, and will have a pretty good idea as to how he wants to respond. Lambo looking to make use and take advantage of the free hatcheries already with the extra production he has, already spamming out a lot of Zerglings. We're going to be very aggressive here perhaps in the very near future, as we'll see Snoot saving that drone there in the natural expansion. His third hatch on the way up. He's ahead by about 7 workers. He's gone into his own Ling Bane now, which is going to be very important. Already morphing in a couple of Banelings over here to try and come in for a little bit of a kind of surround on Lambo's units as they're being aggressive. As Lambo starts morphing in his own Banelings as well. Snoot with some more Banelings defensively set up over here. Queens are coming towards this ramp, towards the low ground in general to help defend. As the first Zerglings starting to move forwards here. A few Banelings from Snoot come down the low ground. Nice connection so far. Not the best, not the worst, as we see this Baneling is not going to get too much done, as there's them Banelings coming in from the back from Snoot. They're looking to see what they can connect on Snoot. He has to be so careful here, as he has already got them Banelings target fired by the Queens, though. That's huge here. As Snoot makes a pretty good defense so far. That target firing on them Banelings is really important. With 3 Queens, if you can target the Banes, they go down so quickly, and if you can stop them connected on anything, it's going to be a major part of the defense. As Snoot looks though he has defended this attack. He comes out a few workers ahead, starts the roach run already. And Lambo with maybe much the same idea here. Snoot just coming in, trading 2 Banelings for 2 Banelings, a Zergling for Baneling as well. Very kind of, no major trades really going down here. Neither player taking a major advantage. Baneling for 3 Lings again. Nothing too major as this single Zergling from Lambo moves forwards, gets taken down. And we're going to see Lambo just continuing to look around with a couple of Lings. Actually going to get into the main base here, creating an opportunity for himself to scout and pick up some information as he runs around. He'll be seeing that the Roach Warren's on the way up for his opponent, but no Evo Chamber or +1 or anything. As the lair actually for Snoot going to start in the third base as well. Snoot still across the map here with some Banelings. Ooh, not the best micro from Snoot there, losing 2 Banes for 2 Zerglings. That's very unlike Snoot actually, to kind of lose track of a couple of Banelings and to just let them go off kind of without paying attention to them. So, all said and done, it's an 11-10-11 worker lead for Snoot still. Again, I'm intrigued as to the fact that he hasn't decided to play the Evo Chamber. I wonder if that's going to play into the fact that he may just be looking to play Middleist here in the near future. And may not be looking to really kind of, may just be looking to use that Roach Roarer in such a way that he's going to use the Roaches to help him defend something perhaps while he goes into Mutas. But his main goal is going to be those Mutas. So, Snoot just banking up money right now. He's got quite a lot in the bank. There's that Lyra about to finish. We're about to get some confirmation on what this is going to be. I'm pretty sure as we see more Lings coming out, it really does look as though this is going to be just a Spire play in the very near future. There's that lair finishing, and there's that Spire coming in the third base as well. So putting it down straight away, just in the back of that mineral line. Not trying to hide it too much, I'd say. I mean, it kind of, where's the best place to hide it? Maybe over here, where an Overlord has to commit quite far in to see. I don't know, as you see a few Lings actually hitting the front here into a Baneling. And Snoot losing just a few of those units as we see a lot of Roaches on the way from Lambo. And he is going into that Spire of his own now. As he attacks across the map with these Roaches, he will be looking to force some units out of Snoot as well. Looking to force Snoot into a set of views with which he's going to be able to defend while he continues to set up into this. So I'm going to see the +1 missiles just continuing to come on in here for Lambo. And, well, Roach Speed not done just yet. We'll see how this goes. 22 more Lings on the way. Snoot's very likely to use those as a kind of a run-by set of units. Maybe try and run by if those Roaches do commit across the map. You'll see this Overseer having a little bit of a look in right now. Is just about to confirm that Spire play. Lambo will see this here. He's also going into his own Spire as well. So he's looking to kind of transition away from the Roaches very quickly. But he actually, I think, just cancelled that there and goes into the Hydra Den, realizing that he might not be able to contest Snoot in Mueller's numbers anytime soon. Because these Roaches over on the 4th phase going to be able to defend this, and these Zerglings are going to be turned away pretty swiftly. Some Zerglings going to be turned away. Queen's continuing to just inject back at home. 15 Mutilus on the way. That Hydra Den is about to finish up from Lambo. He's not going to have that much anti-air to begin with here, though, so these Mutas have a lot of potential to get damage done. Infestation Pit also on the way for Lambo too, so we're really looking for any combination of Hydras and Infestors to help turn this around. Again, I'm worried about these initial Spore Crawlers, whether they're going to be enough against 15 Mutalisks. How many Queens on the map as well from Lambo, that will also be useful. Only 3 of them, so not that many Queens for Lambo either, as you already see him losing a couple of Overlords out in the center. There's one Overseer up here just going to be having a look around as Snoot goes into melee upgrades. Hive already on the way, and so he's going to go into, instead of getting followed up with Roaches, he will go for a an Ultralisk transition here as the game continues. Balin Speed on the way as well to help against what he's assuming is going to be some Hydralisks very soon to try and fight against the Mutas. We're going to see very nice play so far. Snoot just find himself openings, find himself a unit here, unit there, gets himself a Balin kill, a couple of drones, and just starting to control the pace of this game with these Mutalisks, which is of course what you're expecting to do with these units, as we see. Just finding openings. I mean, right now, again, without the Hydras being out, without the Infestors being here, it is kind of Snoot who's just sort of moving around looking to see what he can get up to. Splits up the Mutas a little bit now as well to maximize their use. And again, just coming around looking to see what he can pick off. The Infestors are starting to pop, but no Pathogen Glance means they don't have energy just yet to fungal immediately. So Snoot should be able to see those and prepare against those before he really kind of has to go. I mean, he sees the Infestation Pit, right? So he has to assume they're out. So he should know that he's got to be a bit careful about that, as he will take down a gas spawning pool as well. And Snoot getting some good damage done here. As you see this Overseer, the only real unit on the other side of the map. I mean, Lambo knows if he attacks, the Mutas will just come in, clean up these units which are trying to attack, because he doesn't have enough anti-air to fight against these Mutalisks. As we're going to see, Snoot continue to just kind of look for openings, find himself opportunities, and again, get damage done. A few more Mutas coming out, and there's that Ultra Switch on the way. 6 Ultras on the way out, +1 melee will finish shortly, and the Chitinous Plane will not be too far behind. A few Roaches burrowing across the map here, going to try and be annoying, try and be a nuisance to his opponent, and actually Snoot realizes, you know, there's some Roaches missing here, it seems, and so he pulls back those Mutas to begin preparing against them. As you can see, Snoot, Snoot's definitely ready to fight against something. Don't know whether he sees the, I think he's figured out that the burrowed Roaches are in play. He's got Overseers starting to come in, so he's going to start hunting this down, and honestly, it's very well dealt with by Snoot. I mean, these burrowed Roaches are barely getting a chance to unburrow. In fact, I don't think we've seen any of them unburrow here. Snoot starts to clean them up. There's them Ultras coming in, and you can just sort of see that Snoot's getting into everything he needs at a very good time. This Roach Hydra attack coming across the map is not really going to hit before Snoot, it's not going to hit before Snoot's Ultras or anything, Snoot is very ready to fight this. Has to be a little bit careful with the Mutas because there is Pathogen Glands, well, not Pathogen Glands, sorry, there is Fungal Growths available now on these Infestors. Snoot just has to try and clean this up. There's some Balin's coming down the ramp here. Fungal lands and actually blocks the Ultras for a moment or two. But there's them Ultras coming down now as well, as we see Infested Terror's being used here to mess up the micro or the AI of the Ultralisks as the Mutas continue to fight here, letting the Ultras kind of take the lead. As you see a couple of the Overseers trying to be sniped by Lambo, target firing those. GG as Snoot takes a pretty convincing fight. I think Lambo's trying of having pretty great years so far. So let's see. He's going to put that team onto match point. Is in the bottom left side. We're going to see from Invasion eSports, the red Protoss player. Let's hear it, guys. If you're cheering on Austin. To the other left-hand side, our blue Zerg player from Team Liquid. Guys, I know a lot of you are Liquid fans or Snoot fans, so let's hear it. If you are cheering on Team Liquid Snoot, who opens with the pull first here at the very start of the game, something awesome. Will scout with this probe. Just making sure that, because this is Arena, just making sure this is going to be something he's not going to die to any kind of crazy aggression early on, or anything like that. Just going to go into this pool first early, and just, a lot of the time on this map, it's very difficult to get hatch first anyway, because if the probe does come across the map to scout and to see what's going on, it can block this natural expansion coming up for quite a while. So, Going for the pull first makes a lot of sense as Harsum just rallying back and forth here with this probe. Just looking to kind of keep an eye for that being taken, plus his own expansion down on the other side of the map. So just going to go into an extractor as well. So again, really looking to kind of just get a couple of lings out here early and start up that queen as well. And there's a couple of lings on the way up. So a couple of lings coming out, that gas. Harsum sees that coming up as well. So Harsum with some good information here early on with this probe scout. And again, we'll just come back to this low ground. Just going to check to make sure he hasn't missed a hatchery coming up just yet as well, as we're going to see that probe. Again, just checking between the bases, having a look to see what's up and what's happening. So yeah, just checking between the bases, and there's that hatchery coming down from straight at the naturals. So natural expansion on the way, as we're going to have this probe from Harsum just coming back home now. It's done what it needed to do. You know, it had a look around, had a little bit of a scout. He's just checking around as well to make sure he's safe, I think, just in case there's some kind of proxy hatch or something. Again, he's playing very safe here. It's a big, important game. Doesn't want to kind of die to something silly, so may as well just keep on scouting around, it seems. Looks as though in general he's going to pull this back across the map to just re-scout his opponent's third base. Maybe we see a pylon coming up from this. Snoot 2 is actually all around the map with these Zerglings currently trying to hunt down that probe. We do see the Zergling speeder started up for him in the background. He has kept mining gas as well, so maybe a very fast newbie-test carapace just for that scout information. It has been something which has become more and more popular lately for the Zerg players to get that kind of scouting, you know, that newbie-test carapace up, get that overload speed, and just be able to really scout pretty much everything that's going on. It's actually forcing a lot more kind of, it's forcing a lot less kind of big sort of all-in plays from Protoss players and, you know, Terran players too in a lot of sense, because when you can scout so well and prepare so well against what's coming, it's just sort of forced other races to kind of stop being as aggressive against Zerg, unless they can really kind of deny that overload scouting and deny the vision and the information very, very well throughout the game. As we do just see single probe here again, just having a little bit of a move around, looking to see what he can get up to. We're going to see a Zealot and Adept here. I'm actually going to see a pylon coming down, so that probe is going to come for a pylon. And we're going to see that mothership core coming across here too. Now, Snoot doesn't have too much just yet, as the Queen will start to target down that mothership core. Them Zerglings having to be a little bit careful. Now, that photon overcharge, if that comes up, which it looks as though it will here right now. I mean, is there really a way for Snoot to deny this? Well, there's them Zerglings coming out. He's going to chase that probe. Snoot's third base in a lot of trouble here. So, Snoot's third base in a little bit of trouble. He is going to come in. He's going to start fighting this. Does not want to overcommit onto it, though. And that mothership core will have the energy for a second photon overcharge here very shortly. I mean, maybe he just has to, because realistically, he can't afford to lose his third base, right? So, looks as though it's one of those situations where he just has to sort of commit onto this, and looks as though he's actually going to use the rest of the energy for recall home. So in the end here, actually wasn't so bad for Snoot. He was forced into a lot of units, yes, but he defends very well. And, yeah, actually, yeah, went pretty well for him. I thought it was going to go a lot worse. I'm always scared as a Terran player whenever I see this kind of pylon coming up on my side of the map. This generally means I'm going to lose some depots. But that's pretty good, as actually we see this pylon here is in a little bit of trouble. Force field from the sentry, most likely to kind of keep it alive at the very end, perhaps? Or he's just not worried about it because he has a pylon behind anyway to keep the wall kind of intact. So that wall going to stay intact here, as them Zerglings do pull back. And the creep is just going to continue pushing onto the map here from Snoot. So creep continue to push out onto the map. A few Zerglings just off to the right-hand side. And I mean, Lair Rotron on the way. All said and done, it's become a fairly, you know, Snoot's sort of getting himself in a very regular position. Now, he did see that Immortal, so Snoot should know that there is a robo facility on the map, as Harsum takes a third hatchery, third nexus, I should say, sorry, and does start to load up that warp prism. So Snoot should at least have some sort of an inkling that there's potential for warp prism play, because he should have seen Immortal and at least know. And if he didn't know before, well, now he definitely does. He sees with the Zergling the warp prism actually coming out onto the map as well. So Snoot gets some good information. Love this little bit of a run by, because right here we don't see Harsum ready to defend this third nexus at all. He's going to pull some sentries down. Are them force fields going to be enough? Well, maybe. A couple of force fields coming down already. Snoot will just back away. So Harsum says this for now. I still don't feel as though those force fields are really enough to keep him off of this, but looks as though it is the mothership core. I'm not sure where exactly it is. Not near the third base just yet, though. There it is in the main base. So Zerglings do back away. Just going to let Harsum have that third nexus. Not going to be able to cancel this. We actually see a Spire on the way up. Now, this is something I love, because the Spire play we don't get to see enough of. And Mutas are very powerful, but we don't see enough of it because so often we've seen Protoss players opening with Stargate-based playstyles. This time, Snoot sees no Stargate and he says, okay, well, you know what, I'm going to try and use a Spire. But Harsum actually goes for that Stargate now as a follow-up. Does he see the Spire? Has he figured this out? Yes, he has. So he's sort of kind of putting this down. I believe in response, he might have seen this, just seen this now. But either way, it's going to work out for him because he's going to have this Stargate up. He's going to be able to start Phoenix production. And you'll have a few Phoenix out when the first muters come out, and he's not going to really let the muter count snowball. And Snoot, well, does he commit to the muters after knowing that this was scouted? As we see a couple of drones being picked off here. Queen looking to help against that Warpism. 7 meters on the way. I mean, in a lot of ways you can, if you only commit to 7 meters, then it's maybe not so bad from Snoot's point of view, you know, because he's only committed to 7 meters, he can still get a little bit of damage done, force some Phoenix out, and just sort of go from there into this kind of next stage of the tech tree. As to whatever that may be, maybe Roach speed, some more kind of commitment to Roach Ravager. He is making a few more meters though, so it looks as though Snoot might continue to commit to this for just a little while longer here, as that Warpism escapes off over to the right hand side. There's the meters coming down the left hand side now, going to be hitting the main base in a moment or two. Overcharge is available immediately. Overcharge is popped and the meters have to turn away. Getting a little bit of damage onto the Phoenix there. There's a little bit of overcharge, and that's going to be one dead Mutilus. Surely no! Snoot gets out with both of those low health Mutilus alive. As we're going to see, nice turnaround onto the Phoenix. You lose one of the meters and is so close to killing that Phoenix. Phoenix is really close to going down, just doesn't quite in the end. Just, again, a few sentries here with the Immortals and some Stalkers too. Going to keep Hearthstone very safe as we see Snoot with the Hydro Den down. Going to start morphing that into a Lurker Den, ready for this transition then. So, again, not mass meter play, just a few meters to kind of keep Hearthstone busy while he sets up into his next stage of the game. Something like the Lurker Den does take a long time to come into play. It's an 86-second build time, you know, or not certain 86 seconds, it's a 71-second build time, sorry, on the Lurker Den. God, I'm useless with numbers. 71 seconds to build a Lurker Den is a long time though, and it takes a long time to come into play, and then the Lurkers have to morph in as well, so Snoot using these meters to kind of buy himself some time. But that being said, he's only got, what, like 5 meters left, and so maybe Hearthstone, having picked up a few of these meters, finds himself maybe with the potential for a bit of a counterattack. Now only 4 meters left. Maybe Hearthstone does find that attack here very soon. Snoot's making some Zergling, setting up a 4th base as well. Warpism still on the map from earlier. Still looking to see if you can kind of find some damage, basically. Snoot, 5-8 Hydras now on the way as that Lurker Den approaches completion. And a couple of Queens just between the main base and the natural here for Snoot as well. So a few Queens just kind of between the bases. Again, the extra Hydralisk just continuing to come out. And, well, another robot from Hearthstone's just going to continue building up this Immortal count, which, of course, with the Lurkers coming into play is going to become very important. The few Archons coming into play as well, also going to become very important over time, as we see a single Phoenix here going to be pushed away. Hydra's just helping to pick that off, as we see. Well, Hearthstone just going to start moving towards his own 4th base, it would seem. So just going to start getting that set up. I mean, Ulvrena is actually one of these maps which is very difficult to fight on. It's very difficult to push across this map because there's only realistically 2 ways you can attack. Up the left side, which has these choke points, which are very difficult to fight through, or through the center, which is very easy to hold because it's the only realistic attack path. Across the right-hand side is way out of position, you know, so if this Protoss army goes to the right, and Snoot finds out, he immediately counterattacks through the left side and forces a base trade before Hearthstone is even in position on his Zerg base. So, it's one of those sort of interesting maps. This plays out very interestingly in towards the later stage of the game. Did you see Snoot actually being the one to become the aggressor here as his first few Lurkers start to come in? And, well, so far just working his way through a little bit here, a little bit there. The Zergons go up and they're going to get a cancel on that 4th base. Hearthstone not in position at all to make this defense work. And Snoot will be taking a little bit of damage towards his 3rd, but 9 workers killed and the 4th base and those pylons. Hearthstone hits a supply block. And a nice little moment or two in the game here for Snoot, as he should be able to defend his own 4th base without too much issue. Them Zealots go down. Still just that Warpism flying around being a bit of a nuisance. All the meters went down, right? So it'd be nice if kind of there was 2 or 3 meters left alive to keep an eye on the Warpism, to keep chasing it. That could have maybe worked out very nicely as we see Hearthstone with this army here right now just... This army here right now just looking to maybe push up through the center. Or maybe just sit defensively on the kind of 4 bases. He sets up a status board here as though he does want to defend this position. You're going to see Snoot starting to move forwards. The Lurkers begin to burrow. I love this. Snoot already kind of just pulling back, not committing to this. He should see that status board as well. Single Zerg goes and pops that. And with a very low Lurker count, he is pushing across the map here and looking to see what he can do. We see a few more Zealots being warped in. We're going to see Storm on the way, not ready just yet though. More Lurkers now coming into play from the back, and they're going to start sieging up. And let's see how this goes as Hearthstone is attacking on in. He is going to commit to this. The Archons have gone down already though. There's only really Immortal standing, a couple of sentries. Phoenix come in and lift up a few of these Lurkers. Going to force Snoot to re-burrow those. And it's the Immortals versus kind of, well, still a little bit of everything from Snoot. As we are going to see the Immortals though kind of very, very sturdy, and so do kind of stand strong. But Snoot still holds the center position on the map. Storm going to be finishing here very soon. There's 1 High Templar amongst this army. Going to be pulling back a little bit as we see a couple of Bowers going down, trying to catch those Phoenix. Snoot with more Hydras on the way. Revelation on those Lurkers. Snoot cannot afford to leave those alone. As just a small group of units comes in to try and deny the 4th base. Snoot will move the Lurkers a bit further forwards, and is he being a bit over-aggressive here because Hearthstone has immediate warpins to help respond to this. There's a big storm as well, and Snoot is losing a lot. His Wolfen in Lurkers aren't going to help out too much, but the Revelation dissipates, and without the Revelation, these last 3 Lurkers remain alive, and so Hearthstone, in the end, it was a good fight for him. But he needed a little bit more at the very end of that here. There's Oracle still alive. The Revelation's so important because without Revelations, observers are very flimsy. If the observer goes down during a fight, the detection is gone. Lurkers become unkillable. With a Revelation, you're guaranteed that vision throughout the game, throughout the engagement until it fades, which is quite a while. So Oracle very important to keep alive here. Very important to keep in play for Hearthstone. As Snoot just takes a moment or two to again, just kind of back off and rebuild that Lurker count a bit. Again, that one little fight towards the end there didn't look too pretty for him. Singles out, sees the army moving forward. Storm now in play as well, something Snoot has to take into consideration. That wasn't in play the first time we saw him fighting, but it is in play now. And, units like the Hydralisk, they go down very quickly to those Storms. Warp Prism play. Continuing for Hearthstone, keeping this Warp Prism on the map, continuing to be annoying, and just keep Snoot distracted, just keep Snoot thinking about other locations on the map than the forward attack, than the frontal location, which Snoot has been making use of so far, through the center here. As we see Snoot spreading out his units as well down the left-hand side, and that could be an opportunity to maybe counterattack, and, well, not counterattack, but attack on a different location, and maybe start pulling Hearthstone apart a little bit here, as we're going to see this couple of Lurkers going to burrow. I mean, Hearthstone's army is, a lot of his army is actually just left-hand side to protect, but it's actually going to give Snoot the opportunity to move into position through the center, and that's exactly what he's going to do. The Storms hitting a few of the Hydralisks, but the Lurkers are burrowed in a very aggressive position now, and that's something which Hearthstone has to fight into here, because otherwise, he's going to be cut off from his 4th base. Another nice Storm, though, hits on some of those Hydralisks. Still trying to clean up some units to the left here, as the Ling Hydra Force, well, doesn't have Storms to worry about any longer. I don't believe the Storm is available anymore. There's a couple of High Templar left. One of them gets taken down, so only 1 High Templar now. It's not even an Archon going to come of that, as the Lurkers continue to move forwards here. The Hydras as well going to be looking to try and keep those Lurkers alive, as the Immortals, though, moving forwards here. Snoot with a supply lead as he takes the fight against what is now just pure Immortal. Can the Immortal push on through? Well, with these Zerglings coming in, I don't think it can. Immortals not the best against Zerglings. We're going to see a recall over here. And this Mothership Core recalls over to the 4th base, a few Zealots. The Lurker's still holding the position down the ramp, though, and so Hearthstone's still going to struggle to kind of move into this location as Snoot reinforces. Hearthstone with a lot of money in the bank that he just isn't spending right now. As Hearthstone, does he actually not have an Observer again? There it is, just coming out the Robo. Maybe just got killed off there, and that's why he can't fight into these Lurkers currently. A lot more Lurkers on the way up once again. There's actually a couple of Lurkers picking off workers over here, and there's them Immortals starting to fight on into this. The Lings come in to help reinforce some more Lurkers, begin to burrow. These Lurkers which are morphing in, some of them being cancelled, but some of them do finish. They burrow as well. The Immortal count is going down here, and Snoot might be about to put Team Liquid into the lead for the first time in the semi-final. He does it. The first player today to win 2 maps in a row. He plays a very kind of, really commits into it, He really kind of goes, he really goes for it. And he really commits to it for a lot longer than a lot of other players who play kind of Ravager-based styles play for. It's not quite the kind of Ravager into Ultra style. He really likes to play kind of very heavy Roach Ravager and Festa for a long time into the game, going to Broodlords even as his first kind of set of Hive Tech, so I'm excited, always excited to see Snoot play, very excited to see him play a bit of CVT here. He spawns as the red Zerg player to the top left-hand side of the map from Team Liquid. It is Snoot. 1 game away from putting Team Liquid into their second SC2 Improved Team League Finals. Of course, they are reigning champions. They won Season 4. Season 5 was a bit of an off-season. We didn't have a first division. So essentially, they are reigning champions, looking to defend their title. Undeniably one of the best teams in the foreign scene right now. Yeah, I mean, just so powerful. I mean, they looked pretty much flawless throughout the group stages. They lost 1 match in which they took Millennium to 7 maps. And I mean, when you talk about Millennium and the players they have on their team, I mean, they've got, they're one of the best foreign teams as well. So it's, it's a match which you can sort of expect them, you can't be kind of disappointed in Liquid for losing that one as their only sign of weakness throughout the entire season so far. And Invasion have had an up and down season. They had a 6-3 match score in the group stages, which is, it's not bad, but against the teams they played against, some of them, maybe they shouldn't have really lost some of their matches. But hey, they made it to the playoffs. They crushed True Esports in the quarterfinals 4-0. A lot of their matches have come down to this guy here, and it's this guy now to try and carry them through into the finals. the blue Terran player picked up the all kill in the quarters. It is Major from Invasion eSports. Kicking us off with the Reaper expand here on Frozen Temple. Not going to go for the 3x Reaper, which is oftentimes something we see players doing. We've seen kind of, especially on this map, we've seen Beyond doing it quite a lot lately actually on this map. It's a very difficult build to stop because of all the ways in which the Reapers can jump up and down, and most importantly because the Reapers can slow down the third place for so long. As we see this Reaper just coming in towards the upper left, and just going to be having a little bit of a look around to see what's going on. There's them Zerglings starting to take a little bit of damage there. So a little bit of damage being dealt as I'm going to see, again, the Zerglings just looking to come forwards here and just keep on trading against that Reaper. Again, just kind of in and out, just looking to pop down a grenade, push this Queen around a little bit, and see what it can get up to. Libertas character starts up from Snoot, so not going to let himself kind of die to any sort of hellbat timing or anything, or at least hopefully, because he should have that scout information to prepare against any sort of aggressive build Major might go for in the early stages of this game. For now, the factory is ready to land onto the reactor. He is on double gas, so the starport does come down very quickly. Barak's going to build a tech lab, so we'll see if that's going to be a Banshee play or whether it is just going to be Stimpack straight away as the first two Hellions start on up. Reaper pushed away. No kills on this, but again, just trying to pick up some information, trying to see and confirm what is going on. As those couple of Lings just backing away, and Ling speed now in, so he should catch this Reaper. Going to force him back up into the main base. A little bit of a split on these Zerglings from Snoot, as he will stop this Reaper from getting back out of this base, or at least try to, of course. As Reaper going to just drop a grenade, try and deny a little bit of extra mining before it goes down here at the very end. Snoot moves as drone out to take the third hatchery, as we expect. We're going to see the first two Hellions now out, and it is going to be the Liberator coming down on the starport. As Major comes, Snoot comes in and sees that Major's got a tech lab starport, not starting cloak though. A Liberator on the way out, very interesting. Wow. That is very interesting. We see this Fed CC on the way up too. Is that something Snoot spots at the end? Yes, it is. So Snoot gets some good information here. More Hellions on the way. What's the tech lab for on the starport then if he's going to go for a Liberator? I'm not too sure. Maybe just a little bit of a mind game? Potentially. We're going to see a Rotron finishing here in a moment for Snoot, so he's actually setting up into some roaches. He's actually got a lot of gas to go for here. And it's going to be nice. I mean, even if he just gets 4 roaches and a couple of Ravagers, he's going to be able to defend pretty much everything which Major has going for him right now. He's going to be able to turn around the Hellions. The Liberator will be kind of Ravagered down, as we are going to be seeing that Liberator coming over towards the natural expansion, it seems, of Snoot here. So this Liberator heading on over to the left-hand side. That Stimpack has started up for Major. We're actually going to see Snoot back in towards the main. Does just confirm this. So Snoot has a very good read. This one Overlord has seen pretty much everything multiple times now. So Snoot knows exactly what he's playing against. He knows exactly what is going on. As we are going to see this Liberator just going to be coming in, sieging up in the back of the natural mineral line. Queen's getting some good damage done initially, and actually these Queens going to pick this off. As we're going to see a single Queen out in the front going to be attacked by a few Hellions, but actually the Zerglings will come forward, protect this. He doesn't even lose any Zerglings, he loses one Zergling. Great defense by Snoot as he turns everything around, kills the Liberator, pushes the Hellions back. Very nice defense, very solid. Very, very solid indeed, as we see. Again, just a few Lings and Ravagers joined up together, these couple of Queens as well, and Creep continuing to push out onto the map here from Snoot, as we have those few Hellions just coming up the right-hand side of the map. So 3 Hellions just coming up the right-hand side of the map. There's Overlord here from Snoot just overhead. Going to see these Hellions coming in from the right and should be able to get units in position in time to protect his mineral line. Doesn't even have to pull drones off the line, it seems, and so he will be able to defend against this. Snoot, again, playing very well so far and finds himself at a very quick 20 worker lead in the game. We see that third CC from Major going to be landing down here in just a moment. And Major is just going to be committing into the bio play with 1-1 upgrades now, and obviously the extra racks we already saw. We actually have seen the last few matches I've seen of Major playing TVZ has been a lot of Sky Terran kind of play style, so just going to play this straight up bio this time though. As we see Snoot going to start a small crawl as he recognizes there's a Liberator coming into position on his main base. One single drone here going to be attacked, maybe the second one goes down too. As the Queen comes in, just forces that on siege. Ravager there to corrosive ballot away as well. A couple of drones lost. A very minor issue for Snoot as he again continues to set up very well, just starting to push Creep out onto the map and just spread that kind of down the left side and the center and over to the right as well, most likely, as we are going to see the 4th hatchery starting up here now from Snoot as well. So Liberator again just jumping between the bases, and well, then Ravager's going to be very close very quickly, and that's a dead Liberator before the Queen goes down. Very well kind of seen there by Snoot. Doesn't pull the Queen away, knows the Ravager shots will land in time. As we see these Marines join up. These Hellions going to start pushing up the right-hand side. They have Stim right now. The first Medivacs are popping. It's going to be a little bit of an attack up this right side then, and well, how prepared is Snoot to deal with this? He's going into, again, the +1/+1 and roach attacks. Again, I mean, we mentioned at the start, this is probably what we expect from Snoot. Kind of a roach-based play, infestation play to go into infested as well. As we're going to see this attack coming in very early here. How well prepared is Snoot to deal with this? He might lose the 4th base, actually, because I don't think he's made enough units yet to kind of fight this army. So 4th base is going to have to be cancelled here. He'll lose a bit of his creep spread. And well, Snoot just going to have to gather together to get ready to push this army back. A lot of these Marines heavily overstimmed, and without combat shields just yet as well, is not the most effective of Terran armies. And Snoot just some nice transfuses, keeping the Queens alive. More roaches coming in. I'm just going to keep on pushing this back. One of the battles actually lands on his own units here, as we will see those medevacs jumping into the main base. It's one of the biggest issues most likely for Snoot in this game, fighting against the drops, because for a long time here, he isn't going to have any anti-air to kind of chase drops. He's not going to have mutalisks and so on, and in general, kind of the Roach Ravager play is a little bit weaker against drops than anything else, having to rely on kind of fungal, corrosive bile combos to really shut down medevacs in the skies, as we see. I mean, Major, a good attack, because he does cancel that 4th base. Snoot delays Snoot from setting up onto that 4th base. As the Queens here going to push out the creep onto the right-hand side a little bit further. This creep spread from Snoot out in the center is a little bit lackluster, actually. We've seen him not really advance that for quite some time here. You can see Roach is coming into position, picking off a couple of Widow Mines before too much can go down. And these medevacs going to drop off over here as well, as actually these Queens going to start targeting them. One goes down, the other gets very low. And Snoot actually continues to clean up here very effectively. Takes down the rest of those units. And continues to add on kind of roaches to this army. Look at this, I mean, there's so many Queens in this army. As Snoot continuing to push the creep down the right side. Still intrigued as to why he's not used these creep units for so long in this game. I don't believe he's, I don't believe we missed them being killed or something. I believe he's just kind of not been spreading that creep for whatever purpose or whatever reason. Obviously not a purpose not to spread creep. But obviously just distracted in other locations on the map, as we see him just now pushing one of those creep streamers over to the left side. We will see a double drop over to the left, as we see the right hand side, the main army, getting ready to go once again here from Major. No free infestors right now, no pathogen glands, just getting these infestors down, and now he does have that fungal growth to utilize in these engagements, and he is going to get one right here, maybe? Not quite, doesn't get the opportunity. Whoa, some Widow Mines getting some good damage, as we'll see Snoot, oops, a little bit of a miss fungal over to the left hand side. Actually fungals his own roaches, obviously doesn't do damage to the roaches, but hits his own roaches there. As we see Major begin to start up his 4th base in location here. So starting to build up his 4th base. And we do just see a Spire on the way. The Hive just over halfway done as well. Snoot adding on a few more spines, just setting up towards this 4th. And again, the Widow Mines just burrowing here. A few Marines stimming forwards. Scan comes down, so a little bit of creep going to start getting cleaned out. As these Roaches and a few Ravagers just looking to kind of push on forwards in towards this army of Major. To the left hand side we see again Major just continues to split up his units and sort of attack around the map right now. As we see Snoot actually going to send a group of units out on the map too. Does he have enough to fight this here? Well, with the fungal growth corrosive bile combo, definitely could do. He finds one of those units and oh, he sees it. He sees it. He's going to get the bile and the fungal growth. Medevacs start to drop. Another couple of medevacs come in over here. It's a bit of a weird fight as we see kind of Major reinforcing halfway through. And it looks as though it's going to be fairly even. I think Snoot will kind of end up being the player who runs out of units here in this engagement, but it's been pretty close. Major still scanning over to this side, looking to see if he can get any further damage done. These Ravagers are still fighting over here. The Marauders do not kill them very quickly at all, especially with the upgrade lead in play for Snoot, with the 2-2 already finished, and 2-2 only just coming in the next few seconds for Major. As Major continues to hold this sort of position over here, the Widow Mine is going to go off on a Queen or two. Nice transfuse to just help soak those, Widow Mine shots up without really taking any kind of lasting damage. A few barrels come down there, but the Widow Mine already being cleaned out. And Snoot is again just continuing to move forwards and gain himself some ground. He's got a big bank coming up. He starts that Great Spire as well, ready for a later game transition now into those Broodlords. We see him going to start chasing Major's army back down this right hand side of the map. Major at the same time pushing up the left side with another group of units trying to fight on in towards this top side. A lot of Queens here to defend this, and he's actually going to be able to start getting onto those Liberators very quickly. Targets down those Widow Mines. Snoot will begin to transfuse these Queens up and keep them alive. A few years coming back as well, but Snoot's still pushing down this right side as well. A couple of Liberators don't do too well against this because of the fact that them Corrosive Vials will be able to land onto them very quickly. And Snoot looks as though he has plenty to push back over here as he does push those Liberators away. And Snoot again just trading but not overcommitting. Knowing he has Broodlords on the way, he knows his army gets better than what this is right now. He knows it gets stronger, and so he doesn't want to overcommit before he has to. Playing this safely, playing this slowly, as Major is being allowed to build up his Liberator count. We see a few more Liberators being joined up here. And again for Snoot, aiming to get in towards those Broodlords very soon. We'll have to trade off some supply here sometime though. You have to trade off some supply to be able to fight against the... before you can kind of fight against this, before he can actually add on the Broodlords, the Corruptors and the Broodlords, you know, so that's something Snoot's going to have to find a way to do very soon. There's a couple of Liberators just showing themselves to the left-hand side on the creep spread. 5th base building up as well. There's a couple of Liberators going to come in over here. Looks as though Snoot not going to find those immediately, though. Might grab a Fungal Growth, and the Bow's really well done. He's going to be able to pick off... Oh, not quite both of those. As we're going to see, the Fungal will be able to finish it off, so... Fungal going to be able to finish that off there, as we see a couple of Libs going to fly by in towards the main base, it seems. There's a big push from Major up the left-hand side. Some Fungal Growths come down, the Bows will land as well. And the Snoot is very quick to now respond with the rest of the army coming on in here. Going to look to try and clean this up, and he will look to push Major back in the next few moments. Snoot pushes Major back, and again, it's Snoot's bank, which I'm really scared for, you know, which kind of makes me worried for Major. At the same time, though, Major did cancel that 5th base. He'll be pushed away to the right-hand side once again, though. And actually, Major drops heavily in supply, whereas Snoot is able to stay maxed out. 5 more Infestors on the way, really kind of adding on to the strength of this army. More support units ready to help out these Broodlords coming into the game in the very, very near future. These few bio units coming down. Again, Snoot losing that 5th base, not an immediate issue, but does want to make sure he gets that up sometime soon. He is continuing to push his creep spread over this right side, which will help. He's got a lot of Roach Ravager over here in position as well, ready for this next big push from Major, which is directed towards the right-hand side of the map. We're going to see Snoot already starting a trade here, and actually it's a very good trade so far. Biles will get rid of those Liberators very swiftly in the skies. Nice Fungal, going to grab a bunch more bio. Major continues to lose out on units, and is actually being pushed all the way back towards his kind of reinforcements back at his base. Snoot keeps on moving forwards here. I mean, another Infestor coming out through the center, a few around the right-hand side as well. A couple of Biles going to start picking away at these Widow Mines. So a couple of Biles going to start going off. Whoa, the Widow Mines actually don't go down there. Whoa, big Fungal Growth though, and look at those Medivacs starting to take a lot of damage. Another Fungal comes in, and that's the sort of engagement from Snoot, which he needs to put Team Liquid into a consecutive finals appearance for the SC2ITL Season 6. Snoot